Want to count down to the 31st of January, that's 2026. I'm talking about one of the biggest days in the lives of the NPP. So the NPP will be going to the polls to elect their flag bearer for their political party. This means a lot to them because they need the win for 2028 elections. Now, who is the best man to help them get that win? For some, they say it's Kennedy Ejapong. For some, they say it's Dr. Brian Champong. Others say it's Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Now, from the camp of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, I have Kwesi Botchway Esquire seated next to me, and he's going to tell me how things are so far, their message to the people, and why you, as a delegate, should vote Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as the flag bearer for the NPP. So welcome, Kwesi.
Thank you, Rosalind.
How are you?
I'm well. Happy New Year.
Many happy returns. You didn't call me.
That's true. You also didn't call me.
No, I mean call me as in chilling.
Oh, no, I was on the campaign trail.
Okay.
Yes, I've been campaigning, and so I couldn't even have the opportunity to spend time with family and friends.
Oh, wow.
Like your good self.
But how's campaign been so far, though?
First, I'm sure we'd find time to, enjoy small. Campaign has been great. Let me say a good morning to you, good morning to everybody watching us, and a happy new year to everybody watching us. A happy new year to my NPP family, from President Kukrudu to the last polling station executive. A wonderful happy new year to every single person. Rosalind, the campaign has been great. The feedback has been amazing. We started our campaign with the 4 big regions, what we call the Gang of 4, the Greater Accra region, Ashanti region, the Eastern region, and then the Northern region. So we started our campaign by engaging delegates in these 4 regions. From there, we did what we call the deep dive, where we sent representatives of the center campaign to engage delegates in the various polling stations. And then afterwards, the third phase was the candidate himself, His Excellency Mahamudu Bawumia, going down to interact with the party people, to sell his message to the party people. That is the current phase in which we are now. He's currently in the northern region. He'll be engaging the good people of Tamale North and I think Tamale Central today. Tomorrow, he'll be in the Ashanti region. The Ashanti tour starts on Thursday and then ends sometime around 27th of this month. Then we have this month, and then we have some 2 days to, mop up things and then prepare for the big day. Like you clearly mentioned, it's a big day for the New Patriotic Party. I am very confident that the process is going to go on smoothly. I am very confident that the New Patriotic Party is going to come out successfully. At the end of the day, it is not about who wins. It's about how the party, we are able to put the party together, put ourselves together, unite ourselves, and know that our biggest opponent is the NDC. Our biggest opponent is not Kennedy Ejapong, not Bawumia, not Brian Champong, not anybody. But our biggest opponent is the NDC, to ensure that we work together as a collective party, as a collective group with a common interest to win power. And so far the campaign has been amazing. It's been the delegates are all chanting just one slogan: no change. Everybody is singing the same song, no change. One
slogan, no change.
Right.
Okay. And that's been the campaign message.
That's been the campaign. Everywhere you go, from the north to the south, all what the delegates are saying is Bawumia, no change. Now, even when you say Kukrudu, they don't respond Ishi. When you say Kukrudu, they respond no change.
I see. Now, I'm trying to count the number of people on the ballot paper. We have Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, we have Kennedy Ejapong, right. We have Dr. Brian Champong, right. We have Honorable Educhum, and right. Then we have Kwesi Botchway Jnr. Right. So we have 5 great persons who are going to be on the ballot paper. Right. Everybody has a great campaign message, right. And they are telling the delegates the reason why they should make them the flag bearer of the NPP. Absolutely. Some are saying that for them, they'll bring unity in the party. Others are also saying that they will make sure that once they get the power, the grassroots will be satisfied. What is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's campaign message?
Thank you very much. Let me start off by saying that all these 5 names you've mentioned, they all qualified. In fact, if any of them didn't qualify, the Presidential Elections Committee, led by the respected Kwabena Kufo, would have disqualified the person. So the fact that the party didn't disqualify anybody means that they all qualify to lead the party. But the main aim of setting up a political party is to win political power. Therefore, it is very important that going to the polls, we choose somebody who will be able to win political party for the NPP in the next election, which is 2028. And so clearly, if you look at all the people contesting from candidate Japan to engineer Kwabena Japan, the person who can win the NPP power is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Why do I say it's Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia? Rosalind, anytime there is an electoral loss, people find, people try to blame any other person other than they themselves. I agree and I concede that the 2024 electoral loss was devastating. I am still broken by the 2024 electoral.
You're still broken?
I am still broken.
Really?
I am sure.
You didn't see it coming?
I am sure many of our party people are still broken.
You didn't see it coming?
I am not broken because of the electoral results. I am broken because of the direction in which this country is currently headed. And so I am sad that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia couldn't get the opportunity to implement the ideas he has to transform this country. I am sad that today, even though the city is gaining some strength, cost of living is still skyrocketing. I am sad that today, if you go to the University of Ghana, hostel fees have been increased, school fees has been increased. I am sad that even though the city is gaining some strength, nurses are still complaining of not being able to get clearance, to be recruited. Teachers are complaining of unemployment. Galamsey is still destroying our water bodies. And so I am sad that the country is headed in the wrong direction.
And do you think Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia would have done better?
Of course.
Clearly. If he had been elected as president, what you're trying to say is that we would have seen prices of goods dropped. We know some prices have dropped.
That was his major campaign message.
And he was
to reduce cost of living.
Wasn't he part of government?
You see, if you take the role of the vice president, constitutionally, the role of the vice president is more or less a ceremonial role. The vice president works at the pleasure of the president. The president can decide to render you redundant. The president can decide to render you, quote and unquote, useless. You, the vice president, you really do not have a defined role by law as a vice president. And so what the president wants you to do is what you do. And so you work at the beck and call and at the sole pleasure of the president. And so the vice president really does not have any role to play when it comes to, the constitutional architecture of this country. Yeah, they say the vice president is the head of the economic management team. But we all know that the economic management team, like any other sub-cabinet team, it's only an advisory body. You can decide to advise the president. The president can decide not to work with the advice of the...
what you are saying...
I am not saying that. Okay. I am only defining the role of the economic management team. Just like cabinet. Cabinet is also an advisory role. The Council of States also performs an advisory role.
My question was that he was part of the government, and you are defining the role of the vice president. And the vice president was at that time supposed to be the head of the economic team.
Absolutely. And
you said that it's up to the president to decide to listen or not to listen. So are you trying to tell us?
I am saying that.
Okay.
No, I am not saying... the point I'm making is that the role of the economic management team is to advise. The role of the economic management team is not to implement economic policies. They are not to implement economic ideas and programs that will transform anything in this country. Their role is only to advise. Now, when they advise, it is incumbent on the president whether to take the advice or not to take the advice. But I'm not saying that the president did not take the advice of the economic management team because I cannot say that. Because I do not have instances where the president did not listen.
But
to
looking at the outcome of the economy, especially the last tenure of the NPP, it went down. Will you say at that time the president listened or the president did not listen?
You realize when NPP assumed power in 2017, everything was going down well. Economic growth, we were witnessing economic growth. We were recruiting nurses who were supposed to be recruited.
This is why it took us to your last tenure.
Yes, and I'm saying we did well. We performed creditably well between 2017 to 2019. Until sometime in 2020, we were struck by a global pandemic, COVID-19. During COVID-19, during Prime, you were not working. The entire nation...
We were working.
You were working?
Yes,
okay,
we were
great.
working.
But you were running shift, because of the lockdown.
No, we were working.
And so things were not running as smooth as it was years ago. And so we were struck by a global pandemic. Our economy was in distress. I'll concede our economy was in distress. In fact, President Mahama, in fact, admitted that COVID-19 struck so many African economies. The U.S. Vice President, when he came to Ghana, conceded that COVID-19 struck even the U.S. economy. And so it is an undeniable fact, and it's a clear truth, that COVID-19 shattered our economy. Our economy went into distress. It led to the Dr. Bawumia conceiving the idea of gold for reserves, gold for oil, all those fantastic and brilliant ideas to make sure that at least we reserve some of our gold reserves to ensure that it helps boost our local currency. And so, Rosalind, the point I'm making is that, yes, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was part of the government. All the things that went right in the NPP administration from 2017 to 2024, he was part of the success story. All the things that went bad, we cannot take him out of the we cannot take him out of the blame. And like I'm saying, anytime there is an electoral loss, people try to blame any other person than they themselves. In 1992, when Professor Aide didn't win, even though we believed we had won and we had written the stolen verdict, people blame Professor Dubois. In 1996, when the NPP lost, in 1997, people blamed President Kufuor. People said, President Kufuor was too quiet. President Kufuor was too calm, and that they needed somebody with some form of street cred to take power from President Rawlings, because President Rawlings, coming from the military regime, what they said was, and that President Kufuor was too calm and too gentle. People were calling him the gentle giant and whatsoever, and so President Kufuor should be changed. The delegates at the time, they didn't listen. They repeated President Kufuor in 2000 and during the 2000 election. President Kufuor won. In 2001, the NPP said it was a collective victory. We all worked together. Same as 2004, when President Kufuor won in 2005, people said, oh, the victory was a collective victory. We all did house to house. We all campaigned. It was a collective victory. In 2008, when we went to the polls, we lost. Candidate Akufo-Addo lost. People blamed candidate Akufo-Addo. They said, oh, Okasakra Ayente, candidate Akufo-Addo was too, aggressive. Candidate Akufo-Addo was dadaba. Candidate Akufo-Addo, people actually even criticized his height. People said all manner of things against candidate Akufo-Addo and made a case why candidate Akufo-Addo should be changed going into the 2012 elections. But the delegates, they didn't listen. They repeated candidate Akufo-Addo again. We went into the 2012 elections. We all know what happened. President Mills unfortunately passed on. President Mahama took over. The NPP lost the 2012 elections. We went to court. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia distinguished himself clearly. He was able to demonstrate and establish that indeed, looking at the pink sheet, the NPP won the 2012 elections. But considering the political stability and the stability and the national cohesion at the time, I am very sure in the wisdom of the Supreme Court, they realized that you cannot tell a certain president who had, enjoyed power for 8 months to vacate his seat for an opposition government to come into power. It would cost a whole lot of political tension in this country. And so I'm sure it contributed to the reasons why they ruled in favor of President Mahama. But it was a fact that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was able to demonstrate and establish that the NPP won the 2012 elections. We all remember you and I were not there. Fast forward to the 2016 elections.
So you're saying he demonstrated?
He demonstrated that we won, okay. Yes. In 2016...
He demonstrated?
Yes.
I wanted to get it clear.
Yeah.
It's not that he won, but he demonstrated.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the court of law, we also... he did...
Demonstration is different
Absolutely.
From the verdict.
You are a lawyer. I'm very careful with my choice of words.
Yes. The verdict says you didn't win.
I'm saying Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia demonstrated.
Perfect.
Okay. Absolutely. In 2016, we went to the poll. We all know what happened. The NPP won by about 1 million votes. I thought that was the end of President Mahama. 2020, we beat President Mahama again. In fact, when we beat President Mahama in 2020, everybody said, oh, it was as a result of the collective effort and, the entire party that won the election. We never said it was as a result of the good works of President Akufo-Addo. We never said it was as a result of the good works of Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia, but we said it was as a result of the collective efforts of the party. In 2024, we lost the election. Clearly, what happened in 92, what happened in 96, what happened in 2008, what happened in 2012, history has taught us that it will repeat itself. And clearly, it repeated itself. People try to blame everything on the candidature of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. But NPP being a party that, recognizes that we have an intellectual background, we decided to organize some form of research to interrogate why the NPP lost the 2024 elections. We put an eminent committee together led by the respected Professor Michael Kwesi. They toured all 276 constituencies, spoke to party people, spoke to Ghanaians, asked them questions why we lost. Ghanaians raised a lot of issues why we lost. One of the critical issues raised by Ghanaians is that we lost as a result of the implementation of the DDEP, the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. Ghanaians said it was a painful policy decision, but it was necessary. Even though it was painful at the time, it was necessary for the government to implement the DDEP. But it cost us in the 2024 elections. Ghanaians said our
Do you agree?
Right.
That it could have been done better. Your boss, Honorable Kwesi Botchway, came here and we had a conversation.
Right.
He said that it could have been done better.
Honorable Kwesi Botchway at the time was a member of cabinet. I wasn't a member of cabinet. I have never been a member of cabinet. And so I did not know the alternatives cabinet at the time had. And so respectfully, I would want to skip this very question.
He's watching.
Yeah, I'm very sure. I would want to skip this question. In fact, he has the benefit of, the full briefing of cabinet. I do not have it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but I mean, I agree and I concede that it was a painful decision. It was a painful decision. And you realize that this was a decision that directly affected the base of the NPP, because we always start ourselves as appealing or our base being the middle class or the elite class. And Rosalind, in order for you to be able to be a bondholder, you should earn some level of income. You should belong to a certain class. I do not have any board. I'm sure you also do not have it, because maybe we do not belong to the elite class or the middle class. And so it was a policy decision that directly affected the base of the NPP. And this affected about 1.8 million people. Let's just say out of this 1.8 million, each person has, 3 dependents, and they all decide not to vote. This is going directly to the base of your electoral college, and so it would affect you in the general election.
Kwesi, I think that as a member of the party, you've heard this not once, not twice, countless times, that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia became the flag bearer of the party because the system was behind him at that time.
It's rather unfortunate, because if you see the system, I am struggling to understand what exactly the system means. What is the system? I do not think, in all sincerity and in all honesty, I do not think there is any system anywhere. I think it's the figment of, the imagination of some people. I think it's some superstition that there exists a certain system that system decides to, reg or decides to influence the elections for a particular candidate. I do not think that any system exists, because nobody has been able to mention that the system is led by A or B or C. And so I do not think that there is any system. But it's just that it's a certain wave, you see. It's a certain euphoria that comes at every point in time. In 1996, that euphoria was with President Kufuor. In 2008, it was with candidate Akufo-Addo. In 2012, it was with candidate Akufo-Addo. In fact, in 2008, you remember the Honorable Alan Martin, people felt was the best candidate because he had a lot of cash for the people, job for the people. He was very popular. He came with some form of aura and all that. But the euphoria of the party at that time was with candidate Akufo-Addo. Same as 2024. The euphoria was with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. In fact, in 2023, the euphoria was with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And in 2026 also, the euphoria is still with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And so, Rosalie, like I was saying, there hasn't been any research to point or to establish that the NPP lost the 2024 elections due to the candidature or the personality of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Aside the Okwe report, which was not able to mention that we lost the election because of our presidential candidate, Musa Dankwa Global Info Analytics has also conducted research on the outcome of the 2024 elections. He couldn't mention or he couldn't establish that the NPP lost because of the candidate. Again, the Konrad Adenauer Foundation, the political wing of Angela Merkel's party in Germany, which is also affiliated to the New Patriotic Party, considering how devastating and how unfortunate the loss was, decided to conduct a research to investigate and interrogate why the NPP lost or performed abysmally. They also stated several reasons why the NPP lost, including to reshuffle, not to reshuffle, 88 MPs, the fight against Galamsey, and so many costs were skyrocketing, cost of living and all that.
One of NPP's biggest problem is the grassroots,
right,
where they are not too happy.
Right.
It caused voter apathy in 2024.
Right.
It affected the NPP massively. Right. At this point, if Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is elected as a flag bearer of the new patriotic party, how will he bring unity into the party?
In fact, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, when it comes to, you see, personally, he's a person of peace. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is not somebody who is divisive. You know, there are people that personally, if you look at their personal traits, even how they speak, how they communicate, you are clearly able to determine that this person is a divisive person or this person is a better person. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is not like that. He's a man of peace. He doesn't mind going out of his lane to bring people together. I am very confident that he is going to be able to bring every single disgruntled NPP party member back and closer to him. In 2023, when he won, he spent about 3 months putting the base of the party together before proceeding to campaign. Meanwhile, at that time, President Mahama was on his 3rd nationwide tour. Meanwhile, he was elected in November 2023. As of December, we were still in our reconciliation process through to about March before he started the nationwide campaign. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has set times without number. And in fact, that is one of his major campaign messages, that when elected, he is going to bring the rank and file of our party together. He's going to work with Kenny Japan. He's going to work with all the other candidates, Brian Champon, Dr. Luchum, all the other candidates. And I am very sure that they all have a place in Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's government. I am very sure that the Honorable Kennedy Japan, the Honorable Brian Jampon, the Honorable Dr. Luchum, the Honorable Engineer Kwabene Japan, they all have a place
in his government.
Will
he also work with them if any of them emerge as a flag bearer?
In fact, looking at his track record, he worked with them, all the people that he contested with in the 2023 presidential primaries. Engineer Kwabene Japan was his right-hand man during the campaign. In fact, within the circles of the campaign, we used to call Engineer Kwabene Japan as the deputy of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, because he was moving with him consistently. Everywhere you find Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, you find Engineer Kwabene Japan. So Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has the track record of uniting the rank and file of the party. And Rosalind, to the very simple question of why Bawumia, Rosalind, like I have mentioned, there is no report to establish that we lost the 2024 elections because of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. All the people who want to blame the electoral defeat of the NPP in 2024 on Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia are only being emotional. Some try to blame it on a tribe. There is no report to indicate that the NPP lost the 2024 elections because of the tribe of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. In any case, I would say that his tribe actually contributed to the percentage we had in the 2024 elections, because if you look at the historical trajectory, anytime the NPP loses an election, we win only 2 regions, the Ashanti region and the Eastern region. In 96, we only won Ashanti region, Eastern region, 2008, 2012. But in 2024, we won the Ashanti region, the Eastern region, and the Northeast region. Meaning we won 3 regions, in the 2024 elections, and the Northeast region is the region of our presidential candidate, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
All right, Kwesi. Unfortunately, time is not on our side. Let me let you wrap up in 1 minute.
Okay.
Yes. So 1 minute.
So in 1 minute, what I want to say is that now we've come to the point where we've been able to establish that we didn't lose the 2024 elections because of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And if NPP wants to win the 2028 elections, the only choice that we have is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, because he's the most formidable, he's the most experienced, he's the man with vision, he's the man with track record. And if you look at all the other candidates, he's the man with superior ideas to transform this country. It is not about satisfying the delegates of the NPP. It is not about satisfying the grassroots of the NPP, but it's about transforming this country. When we transform this country, the delegates are going to get jobs. When we transform this country, the ordinary Ghanaian is going to get a job to do. When we transform this country, we are able to reduce cost of living. The delegates are going to be fine. The family of the delegates are going to be fine. So it is not about who has companies that has employed people for his personal use. The people who are touting that they have companies, they have recruited people, they have recruited the people to work for them for their personal good. But Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is going to create jobs for the benefit of the entire nation and not for his personal benefit. Rosalind, thank you very much. You know, if you leave me, I can talk all day about Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, because for Dr. Bawumia,
we have to go.
For Dr. Bawumia, there is a lot to talk about. Thank you very much.
His name is Kwesi Botchway Jnr, and of course, trust him. He's in the camp of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and he's telling you, the delegates, the reason why you should vote for him to become the flag bearer of the NPP. We'll take a quick break on this. We'll take a quick break on this note.
I'm sure if you were a delegate, you would have voted for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
Are you Kwesi Botchway's son?
No, I'm not Kwesi.
Okay.
In fact, I do not even know him. Okay. I do not even know Professor.
All right, we hear you. All right.